Who is your next witness, Mr. Lally?
Your Honor, the Commonwealth will call Sergeant Sean Goode to the stand.
Okay, and while the sergeant's coming in, I'll see counsel about scheduling. Whenever you're ready, Mr. Lally.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Could you please state your name and spell your last name?
It's Sean Goode, Goode,
And how are you employed, sir?
at the Canton Police Department.
And how long have you been a member of the Canton Police?
17 years.
And what rank or assignment do you currently have with the Canton Police?
Midnight sergeant and 2 days patrol traffic.
Now, how long have you held the rank of sergeant with the Canton Police?
Coming up on 3 years.
Now, with reference to your rank and assignment as a sergeant with sort of the overnight shift, and when does that shift run from?
So it's midnight to 8. The sergeant's, the oncoming sergeant usually comes in around 11 o'clock at night.
And in general terms, if you could describe to the jury what sort of are your duties and responsibilities as a sergeant on the overnight shift?
So I'm in charge of the patrolmen that are on, that work under me. There's 4 of us on the midnight, plus myself, so 5 total. 4 on the road, 1 inside.
Turning your attention to the evening of January 28th, 2022 into the morning of January 29th, 2022. Were you working on that occasion?
Yes, it was.
Similar capacity as you just described?
Yes.
And so the time as far as when you arrived at the Canton Police Station would be similar to what you just described as well?
Yes.
Now, when you arrived, if you recall, who was sort of working with you or under you on that particular shift?
So that evening's midnight shift, it was myself, Officer Pasquarelli, Officer Mullaney, Officer Saraf, and Officer Dever.
And as far, in addition to, let me ask it this way. So when you're performing those duties in the Canton Police Station, where are you sort of physically situated within the Canton Police Department?
We're inside the dispatch room. That's where you handle all the calls, 911 calls, business lines, stuff like that. So anybody walks in the lobby, you're right there.
And so would that also be sort of part of your duties and responsibilities in regard to being the supervising sergeant for the shift?
That evening, yes, I was inside.
Now, with reference to 911 calls and dispatch, what, if any, training have you received in regard to those areas?
Everybody in the Canton Police Department, we do not have civilian dispatchers like other larger departments. So every officer that works patrol has to be certified on the PSAP station, which is the 911 dispatch console. And then once you're certified, you're able to answer all 911 calls.
And what, generally speaking, does that certification process entail?
It's learning the software, learning how to know the difference between a cell phone and a landline, being able to look up if a 911 call comes in on a cell phone. We have 3 different monitors, and you'll see that one of the monitors will be a map, and all of a sudden it'll just ping, and you'll see that cell phone. And a lot of the time, because of the location of the town of Canton, we do get state police 911 calls that are on the highway. So you have to be able to differentiate which call it is. It is actually us, or is it state police? Is it Randolph? Stuff like that. So you have to be able to read a map. It's not very hard, but it's that.
Now, beyond that, now, when people are calling into 911, they're typically calling in regard to an emergency, correct?
Yes.
What, if any, training do you receive in that certification process in regard to sort of demeanor or how to handle people on call?
Obviously, if someone's calling in an emergency, they're probably going to be nervous. You want to just try to stay calm as possible, try to relate to them, not make them any more upset than they already are, and try to get the first thing out of is location. Where are they?
Now, with respect to calls that come into 911, what, if any, difference as far as directing a call is there between something that's sort of a medical call versus a law enforcement police type call?
So any call that comes in through 911, we determine if it's police, fire, medical. If it's police, obviously, we would handle it. But if it's fire, medical, we send it to Holbrook, which is the regional dispatch for Canton Fire. So it's literally just click the button. It says fire right on the screen. That call automatically gets connected to a regional dispatcher in Holbrook, who then determines what they need, whether it be ambulance, fire, stuff like that.
Now, reference to this particular shift on this particular date, January 28th and the 29th, at some point during your shift, what, if anything, did you observe about sort of the weather outside?
When we came in, it was just very light flurries. There was nothing sticking to the ground, anything like that. We were all pretty prepared that we knew that there was a storm coming at some point during the night.
And through your work with the Canton Police Department, you familiar with an individual by the name of Brian Higgins?
Yes.
And what, if any, relationship does he have with, what, if anything, does he do for work, if you know?
He works for the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. It's a federal agency.
And what, if any, relationship does he have with your department at the Canton Police Station?
He has a satellite office in our department. He has his own scan card. You know, he doesn't have to check in with myself or anybody, but he works out of our station.
And is he the only agent, federal agent with the ATF that has space or anything at your police station?
No, I believe there's actually, could be U.S. Customs, two of them, other agents that are at work at the station as well.
And do they have sort of similar relationships as far as
Yes, yeah, they have access to the police department. You know, if Brian, Agent Higgins has worked on certain calls, helped us out, whether it be a firearm case, stuff like that.
Now, on that evening of the 28th, and specifically the early morning of January 29th, what, if anything, do you recall as far as seeing Brian Higgins around the Canton Police Station?
I remember at one point during the evening, he came in. I don't remember if he came into the dispatch or if I just saw him on one of the numerous monitors we have in dispatch. I can't leave that room because I'm the only one in the building on midnight. So, but we never talked or anything like that. Didn't think anything of it. It's not uncommon.
And do you recall around what time that occurred?
I believe it was probably 1:30. Again, I wasn't looking at a clock to see. But
Now, with respect to the parking lot area of the Canton Police Station, when it comes to any sort of substantial amount of snow, what, if anything, do you do with regard to the vehicles in the parking lot in reference to that kind of weather?
we try to move all the cars that we're not using. That would be on a midnight shift. It's any of our unmarked detectives' cars, any of the patrol vehicles that aren't being used. We try to help out the DPW, which is the Department of Public Works, as best as possible when they try to plow our station. Because if not, all it ends up being is just one trail through the parking lot, and it's kind of a nightmare. So with the help of the other patrolmen, if we can get all the keys, sometimes they're not easily located, we try to move the cars to the outer edge of the parking lot so that DPW can make a good pass, and then we'll move them back over.
With regard to the vehicles in the parking lot, beyond sort of the personal vehicles and the marked units belonging to the Canton Police, with regard to some of those other agents like Mr. Higgins that you talked about, what, if any, vehicles would they have within that parking area?
He had federal cars there that he used on cases, and I believe he had two. They'd be, I guess, his cruisers. They were Dodge pickups.
And then with regard to those vehicles in regard to snow removal, what, if anything, was typically done with regard to that?
They were parked to the outer edge, so we don't have access to them. At least I didn't have access to them.
Now, working that sort of 911 dispatch area desk, at some point, just before 5 a.m., what, if any, calls did you receive around that time?
I received a phone call from a woman generally asking if we had locked up or transported a male potty that evening. It's not uncommon that people call and say, hey, did you lock up so-and-so, or did you stop anybody? She said some version of he was out with friends, he didn't come home tonight, and his girlfriend's worried about him.
At the time that you received that call, did you know who that person was on the other end?
No.
And fair to say at some point later you had responded to Fairview Road, is that correct?
Yes.
And the person who had called just before 5 a.m., did you have occasion to speak with them when you were on scene on Fairview?
I did.
Who did you identify that first call to come in from?
First call was Miss Roberts.
That would be Carrie Roberts, is that
Yes.
correct? Madam Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes.
So I'm showing you this. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
What do you recognize that to be?
That would be the 911 call from our station.
And that would be specifically from Ms. Roberts, is that correct?
Yes.
Madam Plum will seek to introduce in the minutes of the next exhibit.
No objection.
Okay. This would be exhibit 35.
Your Honor, with court's permission, I would ask to publish that call to the jury at this point.
Okay. Hold on 1 second, please. What number? Okay. Okay. All right, thank you. I thought that's what you said. All right. Go ahead.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, please.
Okay, please, good.
Hi, my name is Karen. I'm calling because my friend's boyfriend did not come home last night. We were at waterfall, and now she is calling me hysterical because she doesn't know where he is. You didn't pick anybody up by the name of John O'Keefe, did you?
John O'Keefe.
Yeah, he's a Boston cop, and he'll be on foot, so.
No.
I think he probably got a ride and tapped at his own house. I don't know, but.
Yeah, no, we didn't want anybody else or anything like that. And where does he live?
He lives on Meadow, there in Pueblo.
He lives on Meadow, off Pleasant. Okay, and where's the wife home? You said his girlfriend?
His girlfriend, yeah, they were out having drinks, and then she left, and expected him to come home at some point, and he never did.
Yeah.
And so I said to her, you know, my husband had been out with her earlier in the night, but then he came home, and he had custody with me and nephew from this year, passed away.
Okay.
And so she's home with the niece and nephew, and they're old enough to be home. It's just she's nervous because she never even called me.
Yeah.
So she's like, I feel like something happened, and I said, okay. Well, so probably you're in hospital, and you'll be happening. I personally think he someone probably picked him up in the back there. I don't know.
Yeah, did he drive last night?
No.
No. Okay. I think, again, it's more, it would be driven by you. She would have to, call in a conversation and talk to us, but I mean, right now, it's more, he's just at home last night, this comment, sometimes we'll have it with him.
No, that's why. That's
Yeah.
what she did. He didn't call with me. That's kind of why she's more freaking out. So I figured, I called the other hospital, I said, call Canton police just to make sure, if they don't want to get the police officers, anyone, Dutch people, if anybody could pick them up.
Yeah.
To get it off.
Okay.
Apparently, they're not important at the time, so.
Yeah, no.
No.
Unfortunately, I wasn't there, I was stuck here. But we haven't didn't get any calls, anything like that. Nobody was arrested or anything like that. Alrighty.
All right, well, thank you.
Alright, no problem. Good luck.
Okay.
See ya.
Thank you, bye-bye.
Now, Sergeant Goode, what was played in there, is that a fair and accurate portrayal of the 911 call that you had with Kelly Roberts around
Yes.
5 a.m.? Now, turning your attention to about an hour forward, approximately 6 a.m. on the 29th, what, if any, other phone calls did you receive, bless you, in regard to the same sort of parties?
At 6:04 a.m. on the 911 dispatch console, I received a call from a woman at 34 Fairview.
Now, in those intervening sort of hours or so, as you were stating on the 911 call, no one sort of physically came into the Canton police station and reported anything in regard to this, correct?
No,
And again, the party that you spoke to on the phone at approximately 6:04 a.m., did you know that person at that time?
no,
And again, you responded later on or shortly thereafter to Fairview and spoke with a number of different people, correct?
correct.
From those conversations on scene, you now know who placed that 911 call at approximately 6:04 a.m.
Yes,
And who is that person?
that would be Miss McCabe.
And that would be Jennifer McCabe, is that correct?
Yes,
Now, with regard to, you talked about the weather when you first arrived to your shift. Around 6 a.m., what, if anything, had changed between the weather when you arrived and around 6 a.m.?
it was snowing heavily.
Now, may I approach again?
Yes.
When you went over this, do you recognize that?
Yes.
And what do you recognize that to be?
That'd be the 911 call from Mrs. McCabe.
I'll ask you to introduce and admit as the next exhibit.
No objection.
Okay.
And Your Honor, with the court's permission, I would ask to publish Exhibit 36 to the jury now as well.
Okay.
No, please, for lot, whatever it's in.
Yes, I need to return to 34 Canton, 34 Canton Road in Canton, Mass. There's a man passed out in the snow.
You're in Canton, hold on, because you're in Canton, please, go. You connected to know, okay?
Yeah, I don't know why I did that.
Yes, the house, the rest of the line.
I could keep that, like, 50 times down here, and 50, okay?
Connect that line, because of the Canton.
Okay. I don't. Where's the blanket? I don't see blankets, Harry.
911, what's your emergency?
Someone to come immediately to 34 Canton Road, Canton, Mass.
What's going on?
There's a guy on the tractor in the snow.
In the snow, 34?
Yes, 34, the Albert resident, yes, I just pulled up and found it.
Okay, 34
34 p.m. you can't have it, yes.
911, that's not recorded, where's your emergency? Hello?
Yes, I'm sorry, can you come to 34, you wrote it, Canton?
34 Fairview?
Yes, there's a man unresponsive in the snow.
Okay,
He's got to be here, okay?
okay, what's going on? Is he face down?
We just took him over.
Okay. And who's that in the background? Is that someone related?
That's his girlfriend, he has children.
Okay, how old is he?
John is 46 years old.
46, how long has he been outside?
I don't know, I don't know, he got out of the car and it could have been a couple of hours. If he, Carrie, if he, I don't know if he's breathing. There are two women trying to, it could be heat and it's
Okay, can you just try asking? I know it's tough, but we have to talk about going, they're just gonna know.
Is he breathing, you guys? It doesn't seem to be breathing.
Okay, do they know how to do CPR? Do they want to attempt to do?
Yes, he's got to be out. No, I guess he's gone.
Oh. Okay, they don't feel comfortable doing so?
No, I think he's passed away.
Okay. All right, if I can comment in the police department all the way, if everyone's declining CPR, then I can't, I'll hang up with you, and if anything changes, you can give us a call back. Where are you guys outside?
I'm there, I know, I'm on the phone with the ambulance. I know. No, Carrie, you gotta get off somebody. Carrie, you gotta get off the head.
Do you know if there's any alcohol or drugs involved?
I'm talking hours about me, and I just,
Okay, is there any bleeding or anything? Maybe his head up?
yeah, possibly,
Okay, bleeding from the face. And how big the pool was, if there was any?
If you could pause that, just briefly, so. If I could ask you just to back that up about
Okay.
10 or 15 seconds or so, once the siren outside calms down.
More pine.
Okay, bleeding from the face, all right. And how big the pool was, if there is any?
Something's coming out of the building, one of the women is doing CPR.
Okay, one on the is doing CPR?
Yes, that's working, okay.
All right, if you want the CPR, and just let me, just give us a call back when he becomes responsive, all right, but we're on the way.
Okay, thank you.
What is that?
Thank you, Ms. Cameron. And so, upon receiving that 911 call just after approximately 6:04 a.m., what, if anything, did you do with regard to dispatching?
So once it was connected to Holbrook, you could hear me. I ended up dispatching my own officers, my downtown cruisers to 34 Fairview, and then I had one other cruiser come back to the station so I could get down there.
So you yourself respond down there, is that correct?
Yes.
And about how much time elapsed from the time that you sort of transfer to Holbrook from the medical situation to the time that you travel down to Fairview Road?
I would guess it had to be less than 5 minutes.
And in addition to the patrol cars and yourself, who, if anyone else, did you notify in relation to that call when you received it?
So I phoned Lieutenant Gallagher and Detective Sergeant Lang.
Why then?
Just policy, the seriousness of the call. Lieutenant Gallagher was the off-going lieutenant the night prior, the shift prior, so that's what you usually do. And Detective Sergeant Lang is in charge of the detectives.
Now, when you left Canton Police Station to respond to Fairview, who, if anyone, assumed your role as far as manning the dispatch area in the 911?
That'd be Officer Dever.
And, may I approach?
Yes.
Dever. D-E-V-E-R. Sorry.
And for Madam Court Reporter, if you haven't already, I'm sorry, could you just spell Officer Dever's last name if you know?
Yes, it's going to be D-E-V-E-R. You're welcome.
I'll show you what's been previously marked as Exhibit 14.
Sorry.
Okay. Do you recognize that, sir?
Yes, I do.
And what do you recognize that to be?
That would be our roll call log, press log.
And as far as that particular log is concerned, is there any indication on there who sort of created that log?
Yes, that'd be Officer Dever.
And these are logs that you typically create when you're working that particular position as far as the dispatch desk, correct?
Yes, it's pretty much a running journal for our department.
And sort of how is that information gleaned and how is that sort of transmitted into that log?
It's as accurate as the officer that actually enters the information. So if it was busy in there and she's by herself, you're taking information down, you're writing it, then you have to physically enter it into a computer. So there would be a delay in time.
Thank you, sir. May I approach just to retrieve your?
Sure.
Yes.
Now, Sergeant Goode, with respect to your response to Canton Police Station 234 Fairview Road, what was sort of the path of travel that you took?
So I pulled out of the police station at 1492 Washington Street, taking a right onto Washington, heading south.
And then where did you go from there?
And then I took a right onto Chapman Street. And then it would be your third right on Fairview.
And coming down Fairview, what, if anything, did you note as far as sort of the elevation of the roadway as you come from the Chapman side down to where 34 is?
Coming from Chapman, you're heading downhill towards the end of Fairview that meets Cedar Crest.
And so where is 34 in relation to sort of Cedar Crest?
It's the second house on the left before you reach the intersection of Cedar Crest at Fairview.
And as you're approaching, or as you're en route between the police department and Fairview Road, what, if anything, did you observe as far as the road conditions, visibility, things like that?
It was terrible. Heavy snow, wind, visibility was awful.
And when you arrive on scene, what is sort of the first thing that you observe upon your arrival?
As I was coming down the hill, visibility was pretty bad. Obviously, I noticed the Canton Fire engine. Ambulance was already on scene. Both my two officers, cruisers, were also on scene.
Now, as far as the particular cruiser that you were in on that day, is there sort of a particular cruiser that is reserved for sort of the sergeant or lieutenant who's in charge of the?
Yes. So 682 is the primary patrol supervisor vehicle.
And that would sort of shift from shift to shift as far as whoever that particular sergeant is?
Yeah, he would take the same one. 682 is it's labeled on the side of the doors, patrol supervisor.
And so is that the vehicle or that the cruiser that you took to go from the police station to Fairview that morning?
Yes, I did.
And with regard to that cruiser and sort of other cruisers within the Canton Police Department, what, if any, recording system is available on those cruisers?
All marked units have it's called a WatchGuard camera system. It has front video camera, and then it also has in the prisoner passenger back seat, has a camera there as well. They should be working audio in the back seat. They're activated by, if you flip the lights on, the blue lights, it'll automatically click. You don't have to press record. The cruiser automatically starts recording. If you got in a car accident, the camera would start recording. Any kind of impact, the camera starts recording. It actually ends up being passively recording, even when it's not on.
Now, you talked a little bit about the audio as far as in the back of the cruiser, but as far as from the camera in the front of the cruiser, where is the audio recording in regard to that, if at all?
It would be on the mic. There's a mic stand that sits in a charger. It looks like almost a beeper. Should be there.
And so that's located within inside the cruiser, correct?
Yes.
May I approach the witness, Sean?
Yes.
So I'm showing you a flash shot. You recognize that?
Yes.
And what do you recognize that?
That is the flash driver for the Canton Cruiser 682 streaming.
And upon will seek to introduce in the minutes the next exhibit.
Exhibit 41. All right, why don't we break now for lunch, Mr. Lally?
Thank you.
Close your windows, leaving them on your chairs. Follow me. All right.
All right, so Mr. Lally, you'll have Lieutenant Ray here in case we can get to him.
Yes, Your Honor, and just with reference, I do have a number of other witnesses who I had anticipated having this afternoon. Am I free to release anybody who's not Lieutenant Ray or Sergeant Lank?
So I think we'll have those two, we'll finish. You can step down, sir. So we'll finish with Sergeant Goode, and then you've got Lieutenant Ray,
Yes.
and that'll probably get us till,
I think that'll get us sufficiently through the day. I don't want to release anybody unless the court.
well, that,
I really don't think we're going to get to anyone else.
okay, and then we'll do the voir dire. All right, so you can go ahead and release the civilian witnesses.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Lally, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, Sergeant, resuming with what has just been marked as Exhibit 41, that's the cruiser camera video from your cruiser 682 that you were driving that day, is that correct?
Yes.
And Ms. Gilman, if you could, with court's permission, I'd like to publish some of that video.
Okay.
Ms. Gilman, if you could start from the beginning through about 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Can you pause it just 1 second? Sergeant, if you could, as the video is playing along, if you could just alert the jury to the portion of the video where you observe yourself sort of pulling on to Fairview Road.
Yes.
And Ms. Gilman, if you could, when the sergeant does that, if you could just pause it at that time. Okay.
All right, we're coming up to Fairview right now. That's Spring, and then next one up. That's Fairview right there on the right.
Pause it just then, Ms. Gilman. Sergeant Goode, if I could take you back just to the right that you took just before that. What street what street are you on right now?
That's Chapman Street.
And was that Washington Street that you would turn to get onto Chapman?
Correct.
Can I ask you, when you're turning from Washington Street onto Chapman, are there any sort of businesses or sort of landmarks on your right or your left as you're making that turn?
So on the right-hand side, as you're turning onto Chapman, that's going to be Cassie's Corner Store. And on the left at the intersection is, it used to be called Temple Beth Abraham. I believe it's Temple Bin Bar something. I don't know the actual name, but
So there's Temple on your left and Cassie's on your right?
correct.
And so at this point in the video here is about when you're about to turn onto Fairview, correct?
Yes.
Ms. Gilman, if you could. Ms. Gilman, if you could pause it right there. May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
It was right there.
So, sir, Sergeant, there's a pointer.
Oh, okay.
If I could, Sergeant, just ask you to, within this sort of still frame up here on the screen, do you recognize people that are depicted within this still frame of this video?
Yes.
And if, to whatever extent you do recognize people, if you could, using the laser pointer, draw the jury's attention to whom you recognize.
All right. That's going to be myself. Right there is going to be firefighter McLaughlin. That's going to be Miss Reed. And if you played it another second, I believe that's going to be Miss McCabe, or if not, Miss Roberts.
Ms. Gilman, if you could. Gilman, the gentleman you see sort of behind you in the frame, Sergeant, do you recognize who that is?
Yes, that's Officer Sarif.
My apologies, Ms. Gilman, you can run. You can take that down, Ms. Gilman. Thank you very much. And so, Sergeant, you arrive on scene in that area. First of all, what's contained in that video, is that a fair and accurate portrayal of what you observed as far as the weather conditions outside that day?
Yes.
And when you arrive on scene, who, if anyone, is it that you speak to first?
Initially, I walked up to Officer Sarif. I said probably some version of what's going on. Officer O'Keefe was already in the ambulance, and then I just began to try to talk to anybody and anybody.
And so the ambulance is still on scene when you arrive, is that correct?
Yes.
Officer O'Keefe is in the back of the ambulance, is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
And at some point when you're speaking with Officer Sarif, does he direct your attention to where Officer O'Keefe was prior to being placed in the ambulance?
Yes.
Where did he direct your attention?
If you're looking at the house, it'd be left-hand side, slightly probably right in front of the flagpole.
And about how far off of the roadway would you estimate that was?
I would say 8 to 10 feet off the curb.
Speaking to other people without reference to necessarily what was said to you, following your conversation with Officer Sarif, who, if anyone, did you speak to next?
I believe the first person I could really get a statement from was Miss McCabe.
And when you say first person you could really get a statement from, what do you mean by that?
It was a chaotic scene. People just kind of walking in and out. And so Miss McCabe was the first one that was able to give me a good statement of how they ended up here.
Following your conversation with Ms. McCabe, who, if anyone, did you speak to next?
Next was Miss Reed.
And just to be clear, when we speak about Ms. Reed, you see her in the courtroom today?
I do.
Just identify as to where she's seated or an article of clothing she's wearing?
She's sitting between Mr. Jackson and Mr. Yannetti.
I'll just ask the record to reflect identification. Identify the witness.
Okay.
Now, when you're on scene and you're speaking to these individuals, what, if any impact did the weather have as far as your ability to sort of hear things that weren't direct conversations you were involved with?
You couldn't hear. It was oddly eerily quiet, but the wind was so howling that I had a tough time actually hearing people. So you had to speak very loud or get next to each other.
And as far as your conversation with the defendant, Ms. Reed, what, if anything, did you ask her, and what, if any, response did she give?
So I walked Miss Reed to the back of 682. She was obviously cold. Got her in the back of the car, put the heat on, asked her, how did she end up here? How did her boyfriend end up here? She says, I don't know.
Prior to placing her in the back of the cruiser, how would you describe her sort of demeanor outside?
Confused, hysterical, shock.
What, if anything, was she saying or asking in regard to Mr. O'Keefe prior to you putting her in the back of the cruiser?
She was yelling out, is he dead?
And is that something she said once, more than once, or something?
Numerous times.
And about how loudly was she saying?
Oh, she was yelling it.
And so once back in the cruiser, you asked her some questions after she said, I don't know. What, if anything, else did you ask her then?
I asked her if she had driven there, and she said, I think so. And then right after that, she said, I don't remember. Because of her state, I decided to stop questioning there. She couldn't keep her train of thought.
Now, you had notified Detective Sergeant Blank and Lieutenant Gallagher prior to your going to the scene, is that correct?
Yes.
About what time was it that either or both of them arrived at the scene?
Detective Sergeant Lang probably got there at about 6:20, 6:25. I immediately briefed him what we had, what was going on so far. And
about what time did Lieutenant Gallagher arrive?
I believe Lieutenant Gallagher probably came in right around 7 a.m.
Now, Following your conversation with the defendant, who, if anyone else, did you speak to on?
That I spoke to the other party, Miss Roberts.
If you know, about how long a period of conversation are we talking about with respect to Ms. McCabe and Ms. Roberts?
Each interview,
Yes.
couple minutes.
And why was it only a couple minutes?
It was a pretty quick statement. It seemed like they were only in the car for a very short amount of
Objection,
time.
move to strike.
All right, so we'll strike after. It was a pretty quick statement. Next question.
Now, with regard to Lieutenant Ms. Reed, after you had that brief conversation with her at the back of your cruiser, where did you go from? Where did she go from there?
I believe she, at some point, we let her back out outside of the car. We never closed the door on her because I stood in the door frame with my head in the back seat. Got out. She kind of just did her own thing, paced up and back between talking to either Miss Roberts or Miss McCabe, yelling out.
And at some point, did the ambulance and Ms. Officer O'Keefe was in, did that leave the scene?
It did.
And following that, what, if anything, did you say or do with reference to the defendant, Ms. Reed?
Once the Officer O'Keefe was transported, Miss Reed just was not listening to any directions. We were trying to keep her in Miss Roberts' car to stay warm. She's going back and forth. I finally told Miss Roberts, we have everybody's information. She's not needed here anymore. Go home, get warm. We'll reach out if we have to.
And shortly after, and at that point, did Ms. Roberts take Ms. Reed?
She did.
And what, if anything, happened next on scene with regard to Ms. Reed?
It was moments later. I got a radio transmission from our officer that worked in dispatch that Mr. Reed, her father, was on the phone with Miss Reed, and she was making suicidal threats to take her own life.
And based on that information that you received, what, if anything, did you do in regard to that?
Well, once our Officer Dever, who didn't even know that we had Miss Reed at the scene, she radioed to us to confirm that did we have a Karen party on scene. I said we did. She explained that her father was frantic on the phone, and Miss Reed was stating that she wanted to end her life, and he, in quotes, said he wanted her to be in protective custody. So at that time, I knew that we'd be able to get a hold of her because I had all their information. I believe I just called Miss Roberts' phone, told her to bring her back to the scene.
And about how long was it after you spoke to Ms. Roberts that they returned to the scene?
They couldn't have gotten very far, especially in the road conditions.
And then based on those statements that were reported to you from the dispatch from the defendant's father, what, if anything, did you do with regard to Ms. Reed?
I told Officer Mullaney, who was on scene, most of our patrolmen have, it's called the Section 12 paperwork inside of all of our cruisers, just for that reason. I advised him to fill out the proper paperwork, and we were going to section Miss Reed to the hospital for mental evaluation.
And what is a Section 12 from your perspective?
It's a tool for police officers when you come on scene with someone that's having either a mental breakdown, claiming that they want to hurt themselves, anything like that. We have the power as police officers to fill out the proper paperwork. We're not medical professionals. Let a doctor determine if she does need medical help. And if she doesn't want to go, or him, that paperwork allows us to actually physically put her on a stretcher and send her to the hospital. Once she gets to the hospital, it's up to the doctors there to do their due diligence, and if they deem that she's not mentally unstable, then she's released, but at least it's off of us.
Now, the time that Ms. Reed returns to the scene, the fire department, being the ambulance and the engine, have already left. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
And then at some point, do apparatus from the fire department come back in reference to the Section 12?
Correct. So I believe this group was from Station 2, which is the other fire station in the town of Canton. They arrived on scene.
And during that time in between, who arrives first, the fire department or Ms. Roberts with Ms. Reed?
Miss Roberts.
And during that time, after Ms. Roberts arrives with Ms. Reed and prior to the fire department arriving, what, if any, interaction did you have with Ms. Reed during that
None.
And then once the fire department returns on scene, what, if anything, do you direct them to with regard to Ms. Reed and with regard to the paperwork you had Officer Mulaney fill out?
Officer Mulaney and Officer Sarif, and looks like in the video, escort Miss Reed to the ambulance, and she's safely transported to the hospital. Our officer back at dispatch called back Mr. Reed, advised her that his daughter was safe.
And then turning back to the scene, following Detective Sergeant Lang's arrival, what, if any, where, if anywhere, did you and Detective Sergeant Lang go on scene following that?
So when we were waiting for the fire truck to arrive, we noticed that the lights went on at 34 Fairview. We needed, obviously, speak to the homeowners. I told Sergeant Lang at the time, I believe he was on the phone with CPAC for the state police. I said, the lights just went on the front door. Let's go speak to the homeowners. And we both walked in.
You actually physically walked into the house, is that correct?
Yes.
Now, with respect to, prior to you seeing sort of the house lights go on at 34 Fairview, had you seen anybody go into or out of that residence while you were there?
Yes. At some point, either myself or Sergeant Lang told Ms. McCabe that she needs to wake up the homeowners. We need to speak to them.
And why did you say that specifically to Ms. McCabe?
We have no idea why John O'Keefe is laying on the front lawn of a house. We have no idea. The statements from the three people, we need to figure out what happened that night.
And so I guess my question is more, why Ms. McCabe versus somebody else?
Ms. McCabe is the sister-in-law of the homeowner, so she would be a friendly face to knock at the door at 6 o'clock in the morning in a blizzard.
Now, beyond anybody at 34 Fairview Road, again, before you observed those lights go on in the residence, from the other houses sort of on the street up and down, who, if anyone, did you observe come out of any of those houses?
Nobody.
And was that something that continued throughout the time that you were on scene?
Correct.
So how long were you on scene for in total?
Looking at the log, we were there for almost exactly 2 hours.
And so during those 2 hours, no one from any of the houses on the street came outside?
No, I mean, every emergency truck that showed up at 6 o'clock in the morning during a blizzard, there's no other cars on the road, so you're not coming down with sirens blaring, waking up an entire street, a neighborhood. There's no need for it. So it was just lights and flashing, and to be honest with you couldn't see very far.
So you and Detective Sergeant Lang go into the home at 34 Fairview, and who, if anyone, did you speak to in there?
Mr. Albert, Mrs. Albert, Brian, and Nicole.
And who, if anyone else, was present in the home when you spoke with them?
When I was in there, I know Jen was in there, but we didn't speak to her because we already spoke to her, but we just spoke to Brian and Nicole right in the front room.
Now, you heard over the course of the 911 call from Ms. McCabe that she references that 34 Fairview is the Albert residence, correct?
Yes.
And did you know Brian Albert, or were you aware of who he was prior to going to the house that day?
I know of Brian Albert, yes.
And how did you know?
He's a brother of a coworker that I've worked with for 18 years.
And co-worker that you worked with for 18 years, who's that?
Detective Albert.
What's his first name?
Kevin.
And had you ever been to that house before?
No.
You ever been inside that house before?
No.
And when you go inside that day, it's Brian Albert, Nicole Albert, and Ms. McCabe, is that correct?
Yes.
And during the time that you were in there, do you recall seeing, or who, if anyone else, do you recall seeing in there besides those three people, yourself and Detective Sergeant?
Nobody. Detective Lang took the lead on speaking to Brian and Nicole Albert, and I kind of just moseyed in the front of the house, looked in the dining room, and listened to what they said, what happened. They seemed like they were generally in shock that there was a
Objection.
Sustain. Next question, please.
What, if anything, did you observe about their demeanor when you spoke?
They looked like they just got woken up at 6 o'clock in the morning.
And as far as you indicating that you're sort of looking or poking around the front area near the front door, correct?
Yes.
And what, if anything, of note did you observe inside the house when you did that?
Nothing. Everything to be in order. It seemed like a normal house.
And following, if you know, about how long was that conversation in the house?
I would say 20, 25 minutes.
following that conversation, where did you and Detective Sergeant Lang go?
At that time, we both left the residence, came outside, and at that time, Lieutenant Gallagher was arriving. We had like a little bit of a powwow, figured out what was going on, and I believe that's when we saw Jen McCabe's husband show up and walked in. And
Again, you didn't know Jennifer McCabe prior to that day, correct?
no,
Did you know her husband prior to that day? So after you saw her husband, who you now know to be your husband, walk in, what, if anything, did you and Detective Sergeant Lang?
Sergeant Lang ran back inside to get a statement from Mr. McCabe as well.
Did you go with him as well?
I did not.
And after you have sort of the conversation between yourself, Detective Sergeant Lang, and Lieutenant Gallagher, what, if anything, did the three of you do from there?
Lieutenant Gallagher immediately said we need to seal off the area of where Officer Keith was located. We grabbed some crime scene tape, put around. He wanted to photograph the area as well.
And who, if anyone, grabbed the crime scene tape?
Myself.
And what, if anything, did you do with it?
I wrapped it around probably the flagpole, tree, and cruiser. It was hard to keep up just because the wind was blowing at such a good rate.
And then what, if anything, did you and the other officers do with respect to the area that was identified to you as where Mr. O'Keefe was upon Officer Sarah's arrival?
Lieutenant Gallagher noticed that the snow was coming down at such a good clip, we couldn't keep it clear, and made the idea of anybody have a leaf blower, and I did. So I told him I'm not too far away from the house, so I shot back to my residence and grabbed my own.
And about how long a period of time was it between the time that you sort of left to go get the leaf blower and the time that you arrived back?
No more than 5-7 minutes.
And once you arrived back at back in the area of 34 Fairview Road, what, if anything, happened then?
I started it up for Lieutenant Gallagher. He took it over, and it worked great.
Now, with respect to that sort of implementation of the leaf blower, what, if anything, did you or other officers do to sort of memorialize that?
So as Lieutenant Gallagher was using the piece of equipment, I used my iPhone, videotaped it, and took two still photos.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
I actually don't need to. Ms. Gilman, if I could have exhibit number 33 up on the screen. Just the first one. Ms. Gilman, if you could pause that screen, please. Okay. Sergeant Goode, have you seen what's up on the screen as exhibit 33 before?
Yes.
And what do you recognize as?
That's Lieutenant Gallagher.
And what, if anything, does Lieutenant Gallagher have in his hand at the time in this particular case?
The leaf blower?
And what's depicted on the screen, is that a fair and accurate portrayal of what you memorialized on scene that day with respect to the leaf blower?
Yes.
Ms. Gilman, if you could just run just this one video. If you just pause it right there. Now, with respect to using that leaf blower on scene, Sergeant, what, if anything, did you observe in the snow when that was used to blow away sort of the layer of snow?
It exposed the blood and small drinking glass broken.
And do you see those items in what's frozen up on the screen right now?
I do.
If you could, using that laser pointer, direct the jury's attention to where you observe each of those items in this video.
So that's the glass right there. And then all the blood droplings.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ms. Gilman. You can take that. Now, prior to using the leaf blower, what, if anything, did Lieutenant Gallagher instruct you and any other officers to do with regard to your cruisers that were parked on scene?
We needed to move them out of the way. He wanted to be able to get a good shot of the area, so we kind of closed off the road. And
Ms. Gilman, if I could have Exhibit 41 back up again. Ms. Gilman, if I could ask you to fast forward on this to about 40 minutes and 30 seconds in. Good, pause it right there. Now, Sergeant Goode, what's up on the screen? Is that the point that you are referencing now as far as about to move your cruiser for that purpose?
this was earlier when we moved out of the way of the ambulance, I believe.
Fine.
Oh, no, could be right.
Regardless, you recognize this to be,
Yes, sorry, if you just play it forward, I'll know.
I'm sorry, can you?
Just play it forward, I guess.
Ms. Gilman, if you could, I'd like to play this through to about 41 minutes and 12 seconds or so, but if you could just pause it real quick, I'm sorry. Sergeant, at some point when you move this cruiser, what, if anything, are you able to see in this footage of the front lawn area of 34 Fairview?
So my cruiser camera pans the front yard of 34 Fairview, and it shows the snow undisturbed. No footprints, any tracks, anything like that leading anywhere.
And if you could just speak up when we get to that point, and Ms. Gilman, if you could just pause it on that area. Pause it right there. Now, the area that you were speaking about before, is this sort of the portion of the video?
Yes.
And using the laser pointer, if you could direct the jury's attention to the portion of the yard that you were talking about in indication of no footprints or anything that you observed in that spot.
Right here.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Gilman, if you could just let it run through for a couple more seconds. Thank you, Ms. Gilman. You can stop. And Ms. Gilman, you can take it down. Now, Sergeant Goode, you had spoke about as well some photographs that were taken to memorialize the area of where Mr. O'Keefe was found. Is that correct?
Yes.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as Exhibit 8. That's if you, first, just if you recognize it.
Yes.
And what do you recognize that to be?
That is 34 Fairview.
And Ms. Gilman, if I could have Exhibit 8 up on the screen. What's up on the screen, is that a fair and accurate portrayal of what you observed on scene that day?
Yes.
If I could ask you to flip forward in that book before you to Exhibit number 10.
Okay.
And Ms. Gilman, if we could have Exhibit 10. And Sergeant, what's up on the screen, is that what you have before you as Exhibit 10?
Yes.
And similarly, do you recognize that?
Yes.
And what do you recognize that?
That is a scene where our officers and the witnesses found Officer O'Keefe.
And if you could, using that laser pointer you have before you, direct the jury's attention to where you were directed to where Mr. O'Keefe was found.
Objection, hearsay.
No, I'll allow that.
Go ahead, sir. Now, sir, if I could ask you to flip forward in that book just a little bit more to what's been marked as Exhibit 20A.
Okay.
Ms. Gilman, if I could have that exhibit on the screen as well. If you recognize what's up on the screen as Exhibit 28.
Yes, that's the curbing.
And as far as the curbing is concerned, how is it sort of cleared off in this particular area?
We had to kick it off with our shoe to clear it off so we could actually see it, make a mark of it.
And again, that area that you were directed to, as far as where Mr. O'Keefe was found, you observed that in this photograph of Exhibit 28 as well?
Yes.
If you could, using the laser pointer before you, direct the jury's attention to where in this photograph that is. Okay. Now, may I approach just to
Yes.
lastly, I'm just going to show you what's been marked as Exhibit 27. Sergeant, do you recognize that?
I do.
Ms. Gilman, if we could have 27 on the screen. And Sergeant Goode, what's up on the screen as, and before you as Exhibit 27? Sorry. What's up on the screen, is that what you have before you as Exhibit 27?
Yes.
And if you could describe to the jury what we're looking at in this.
So we have the blood, and then right here is the broken drinking glass that was located.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
May I approach just to retrieve?
Yes.
If I may have just a moment, Your Honor.
Yes.
Following your time on scene that morning, sir, where did you go from there?
Once we cleared 34 Fairview, I returned to the Canton Police Department.
And the items that you were talking about as far as the blood, which believed to be blood droplets in the snow and the piece of a cocktail glass, what, if anything, did you or other officers do with regard to that?
Overruled.
Go ahead, sir.
Detective Sergeant Lank transported those back to the police department.
Again, just one moment, Your Honor.
Okay.
I have nothing further for this witness, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Yannetti?
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Sergeant.
Afternoon.
Sir, you and I have never met, correct?
No,
We've never spoken.
no,
Sergeant Goode, you grew up in Canton?
I did.
You attended Canton Public Schools?
I did.
You graduated from Canton High School?
I did.
That would have been in 1998?
Yes,
Is it true that in your graduating class was somebody named Courtney Proctor?
yes,
You knew Courtney Proctor?
yes,
You knew her to be Michael Proctor's sister, correct?
yes,
Also in your graduating class was somebody named Jill Daniels, correct?
yes,
You knew her, or you now know her, to be Christopher Albert's sister-in-law, correct?
yes,
Christopher Albert is married to Jill Daniels' sister, correct?
yes,
And you know Christopher Albert as Brian Albert's brother, correct?
yes,
So it is fair to say that you graduated high school with Michael Proctor's sister and Christopher Albert's sister-in-law, correct?
yes,
And, growing up in Canton and, working for 18 years as a Canton police officer, you're well familiar with the Albert family of Canton, correct?
I work with one of them.
You know that the Albert family is a well-known family in Canton, correct?
Sure,
The Albert family is well connected to the town of Canton, correct?
I don't know what you mean by connected. They live in Canton, yes,
All right, well, Christopher Albert is a Canton town selectman, is he not?
yes,
And you've already established that Kevin Albert is a Canton police officer, correct?
yes,
And you already testified that you knew Brian Albert as well, and you knew that he was a Boston police officer who lived in Canton, correct?
yes,
In fact, he and his family lived at 34 Fairview in Canton, correct?
yes,
You also knew that his family had been there for years. And before Brian Albert owned the house, his parents owned it, correct?
yes.
Now, as of January 28th of 2022, who among the Albert family did you know either personally or professionally?
Professionally is Kevin Albert.
Okay, and what about personally?
I knew Chris.
And you know that Christopher Albert, in addition to being a town selectman, also owns a pizza place in Canton, correct?
Yes, he does.
What's the name of that pizza place?
That'd be D&E.
And have you eaten there before?
Yes,
You've seen Christopher Albert there before?
I have.
Now, on January 29th of 2022, you learned at approximately 6 a.m. that John O'Keefe's body was found on Brian Albert's front lawn, correct?
Yes,
And as of January 29th of 2022, you knew that Brian Albert at that time, of course, was the brother of your fellow Canton police officer, Kevin Albert, correct?
yes.
And how long have you known Kevin Albert for?
As long as I worked at the Canton Police Department.
And that is approximately 18 years?
Coming up in 18 years, yes.
And is Kevin Albert older or younger than you or around the same age?
He's older than me.
By how many years, if you know?
I don't. Probably
Approximately?
5 years?
Okay. Have you ever shared a patrol car with Kevin Albert?
No.
Have you ever worked on an investigation or a case with Kevin Albert?
I probably have, yeah.
In addition to being a colleague, would you also consider Kevin Albert to be a friend?
Yeah, we've socially hung out after work.
And because he is a fellow Canton police officer, you'd expect that he would have your back in a crisis, correct?
Objection, Your Honor.
No, I'll let him have it.
I hope he would defend me while working. Yes, he's a police officer.
You would certainly protect him in a crisis, correct?
At work, when we're police officers, yes.
Sure. Well, even out of work, if he was in a crisis, you'd probably help, correct?
I don't know what you're asking.
Well, there isn't teamwork that is part and parcel of being a police officer with your fellow officers, correct?
Sure.
It's a dangerous job.
Sure.
You need to have each other's back.
Sure.
You need to depend on your fellow officers, correct?
Sure.
And it's been said there's a brotherhood among police officers, correct?
To a fact.
And, when you meet another police officer, he or she will tell you that they're, quote, on the job, correct?
Objection, Your Honor.
The objection is sustained.
And in terms of, depending on your fellow officers, you're taught all this beginning in the police academy, correct?
Objection.
No, he can have that.
What am I taught?
Well, I'm asking you. With regard to the teamwork and, having each other's backs and, working together and depending on each other, you're taught that starting in the...
Sure.
And it's reinforced over the years by superior officers and your colleagues, correct?
Sure.
Now, you were assigned as the primary investigator in the reconstruction analysis for this case, correct?
Assigned as the what?
You were assigned as the primary investigator in the reconstruction analysis for this case.
I don't know reconstruction analysis. No, I was the patrol supervisor that day.
If I may just have a moment, Your Honor.
Okay.
May I approach?
Yes.
I'm going to show the whole thing. Direct him to page 5. Where that line is. Now, I'm going to show you what is, not sure how many pages, but there are quite a few.
Okay.
It's a,
Your Honor, if you could not describe what he's showing to the witness and
Yeah,
just
just
show
go
it to
ahead
him.
and show it to him.
sure. I'm going to direct you, I'm taking up the first 4 pages and directing you just to the 5th page. sir.
Okay.
And specifically the second paragraph, and it's numbered number 2.
Okay.
And I will ask you if you've seen that before.
Okay.
And I'll take it back from you.
Okay.
Do you, may-
Sure.
thank you. Do you recognize what this is?
Looks like some state police form.
Okay. Is it a
Why don't you not ask him? He just answered what he thought it was.
are you familiar with a collision analysis and reconstruction section, a CARS report?
I know the state police has a cars section that handles motor vehicle homicide.
Does this appear to be a CARS report?
I've never seen one. You just showed me one. I'm not in the state police.
Okay. But you did see that your name is listed in the paragraph that I pointed out to you?
Sure.
And you're listed as Sergeant Sean Goode, that's you, correct? Of the Canton Police. And you were assigned as the primary investigator in this reconstruction.
Because I wrote the offense report from that day.
Well, I'm just asking you. I'm dealing with the state police report that lists you as the primary investigator with regard to the reconstruction.
Objection, Your Honor. May we approach?
Sustained. Sure, why don't you all come up for a minute? Bring that, please.
Sergeant Goode, what was your understanding on February 1st of 2022 regarding the Canton Police Department's role in this homicide investigation?
I believe at some point on the 29th, we recused ourselves and we weren't part of the investigation.
Okay. So you did know as of the day that John O'Keefe was found on Brian Albert's front lawn, that the Canton police had recused itself from the case, correct?
At some point, I was notified after I finished all my paperwork, yeah.
And what was your understanding of the recusal decision in terms of what Canton police was either allowed to do or not do?
Well, he had passed away, so now is no matter what, it's state police investigation. It's a homicide. We do not investigate homicides.
Well, you've been a Canton police officer for 18 years, correct?
Yes.
During those 18 years, do you know how many homicide investigations have occurred in Canton?
None.
None?
Homicides? No. That I was involved in? None.
That the department was involved in?
I can't think off the top of my head, no.
So in the 18 years, this is the first homicide that you've been in, your department's been involved in, to your knowledge?
Yes.
Okay. Are you aware that although the state police have primary jurisdiction, they work hand in hand with local departments, usually, unless there's a conflict of interest?
Yes.
So in this case, you learned that there was a conflict of interest. And my question to you is, what did that mean in terms of your potential involvement in the investigation once that conflict was determined?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Were you the primary investigator for the Canton Police Department as of February 1st?
No.
Did you participate with the state police in any part of the reconstruction?
No.
Now, Sergeant Goode, who is Brian Higgins?
He is a ATF agent that has a satellite office out of the Canton Police Department.
And when did you come to meet him?
I have no idea when he started. It's been years.
Years, over a decade?
I don't think so, but maybe.
Between 5 and 10 years?
Sure.
And how often would you see him at the Canton Police Station?
I worked midnights, so during that time, but I mean, 3 times a week I would see him. I mean, we don't have the same work schedule. I don't know when he works. He doesn't know when I do.
Okay, and when you say you work midnights, that means you come in at midnight?
Yes.
At 8 a.m.?
Correct.
And he works in the same building as you in terms of the fact that he has an office there, correct?
Yes.
Are there any other ATF agents that have offices at the Canton?
There could be. They don't check in with us.
Do you know of any ATF agents that have offices at the Canton Police Department?
Not that I know of, no.
What about officers from other local departments, surrounding towns? Do they have any offices at the Canton Police Department?
No.
And you're not sure exactly how long he's had that office for, but it's been years.
Correct.
He has his own key card to enter the building?
Yes.
And you say you've seen him 2 or 3 times a week in the time that he's had an office there?
Sure.
You're aware that Brian Higgins is a close friend of the former Canton Police Chief, Kenneth Berkowitz?
Sure.
You know that Chief Berkowitz was the reason that he was allowed to maintain an office at the Canton Police Department.
I didn't know that.
Well, his close friend, Chief Berkowitz, was your boss on January 29th of 2022, correct?
His close friend?
Yeah, Brian Higgins' close friend, Chief Berkowitz, was your boss on January 29th of 2022.
Okay.
And does okay mean yes?
Yes.
And you worked the midnight shift that day as well?
No.
What was your shift?
I took it off.
Were you assigned to dispatch that day?
The night of the incident?
Yes.
No, I stayed inside. I was inside.
Inside where?
The dispatch. I handle all the calls, send the guys everywhere.
All right, that was my question. I'm sorry if I'm
Okay.
I'm not being clear, but you were on duty, correct?
Yes.
What was your shift?
My shift was I stayed inside.
I'm sorry, what was the timing of your shift?
12 to 8.
Thank you. And when you say you stayed inside, that meant you were handling dispatch, correct?
Correct.
And when you're handling dispatch, you're not expected to leave the station and physically respond to calls that come in, correct?
It depends on the call. Anything within reason that a supervisor should go, I'm leaving the station.
Okay, but,
Normal car accidents, stuff like that, that patrol can handle, no.
okay, so unless it's something unusual, you're going to stay at dispatch, correct?
Correct.
And just after 1:30 a.m., while you were working dispatch, that's when you saw Brian Higgins enter the Canton Police Station at 1:30 in the morning, correct?
Correct.
Did he come into the dispatch area?
I said that earlier. I don't remember him coming in, or just did I see him on the cameras walking down the hallway. We have numerous, I think we have 7 or 8 monitors in front of me that I'm able to watch people around our building.
So it could be that you just saw him on a screen, or it could be that he was in your room,
Correct.
but you don't remember which, correct?
Correct.
And before he showed up there at 1:30, you hadn't called him to ask him to come in, correct?
No.
You hadn't asked him for any help with any investigation at 1:30, correct?
No.
When you first saw him there at 1:30, did you have any idea why he was showing up there?
No.
And when you first saw him, do you remember what entrance he used to come into the Canton Police Station?
I don't. It was from the back parking lot. I don't know if he was on the left back rear or right back rear.
And you would agree with me that 1:30 in the morning was hours before John O'Keefe was found unresponsive on Brian Albert's front lawn, correct?
Yes.
You had no information at 1:30 in the morning that John O'Keefe was out on Brian Albert's front lawn at that time, correct?
Correct.
And when Brian Higgins entered the department, that was the first time you had seen him on either the 28th or the 29th, correct?
Correct.
And this is again at 1:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
you have to say yes or no.
Yes.
Thank you. You didn't know where he was coming from?
No.
You didn't know what he had done that night?
Absolutely not.
You didn't know who he had been with that night?
No.
This was a Friday night into early Saturday morning with a major blizzard forecast.
Correct.
It had already started snowing.
Yes.
It was supposed to get worse.
Yes.
Was it unusual to see Brian Higgins come into the station at 1:30 a.m. on a weekend?
No.
And you don't recall how close you got to him.
No.
Are you able to tell this jury anything about his demeanor?
No. He just walked in. It's not unusual. We wouldn't have made pleasantries or say hello to each other. It's not uncommon.
And you don't recall whether or not you got close enough to him to smell his breath or to smell what he smelled like, correct?
No.
At any point, did he tell you why he was there?
No.
How long did he remain at the station for?
No idea. I only saw him come in, never saw him leave or anything like that.
Did you ever see him do any paperwork at the station?
That night?
Yes.
No.
Did you ever see him do any administrative work at the station?
I can't leave the dispatch room. His office is out on the second floor.
All right. So let's skip ahead a few hours later. You're still working dispatch when a call came in that a man was found unresponsive on Brian Albert's front lawn, correct?
Yes.
This is just after 6 a.m.?
Yes.
You yourself took that call?
I did.
And with regard to who is responsible for entering the information that came in on a call to dispatch, who is that?
The person that's working the desk.
All right, so at 6 a.m., you were responsible for taking down the information and entering it into your system, correct?
It's being recorded through the 911 dispatch, correct. But I didn't enter it into our IMC program, which is our daily log.
Okay, who enters that into your daily log?
That'd be the person that's working the desk.
And you had previously testified that location is important, correct?
Correct.
You would discuss the fact that if a call comes in on a cell phone as opposed to a landline, you want to know where that cell phone is, correct?
Yes.
And you have ways of pinging the cell phone such that you can actually see the location on a map, correct?
Sure, yes.
And you would agree with me that ultimately when the location was entered into your system, the location was entered as 32 Fairview, correct?
No, it was 34. At least we put it out as 34.
34 was the actual address, but 32 is what made it into the police report, sir, did it not?
No, my police report says 34 Fairview.
Now, when that call came in after 6 a.m., you decided that you would personally go out, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I actually have the front page of your police report. May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes. Show Mr. Lally.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'd ask you to read that silently to yourself, take a good look at it, and look up at me when you're done. You've had enough time to review it?
Yes.
Getting back to the location, which you said was important, what is the location listed in your very police report?
On the face sheet, it says 32, but in my narrative is 34.
Okay. The face sheet is important, is it not?
Yes.
People see the face sheet before they get to the narrative, correct?
Sure.
Is accuracy important?
Yes.
And the very first thing that's entered with regard to the location is inaccurate, right?
Say it again.
The very first entry with regard to the location on your police report on the face sheet is inaccurate. Would you agree with that?
I guess so, yes.
And with regard to the name down the bottom of that report, I left the report in front of you so you could look at it again. Would you read that silently to yourself and look up at me?
Okay.
Does that refresh your memory as to what name is listed?
Yes.
What name is that?
John O'Keefe.
No. I can have that back for a minute. Okay. Now, you decided that you wanted to go to the call, or you decided it would be a good thing for you to go to the call personally, correct?
Yes.
So you called Officer Kelly Deaver into dispatch?
I did.
And you did that because you wanted her to cover the desk for you so that you could personally respond to the call, correct?
Correct.
Responding to the call wasn't your duty assignment, but you made it your duty assignment, correct?
Correct.
And if you were going to leave, somebody had to cover.
Correct.
After that, you personally called two of your other colleagues who were not on duty that night to respond with you to Brian Albert's house, correct?
Yes, I did.
And you previously testified, I believe, that Sergeant Michael Lank was one of those officers, and he arrived at 6:25 a.m., correct?
Correct.
And then Lieutenant Paul Gallagher was the other officer, and he arrived closer to 7 a.m., correct?
Yes.
When you responded to 34 Fairview on January 29th, did you know that residence?
Yes.
And what did you know that residence to be?
I knew that to be Brian Albert's house.
You and Sergeant Lank had both been to that residence before, correct?
No.
Together.
Actually, we have. We were there for a police report years ago.
Okay. And so when you decided to respond to the scene on January 29th, that residence of 34 Fairview, you knew exactly where you were going.
Yes.
And when you got there, you knew you were outside the home of Boston Officer Brian Albert, correct?
Yes.
And this was a memorable event. Would you agree with me?
Yes.
before January 29th of 2022, you had never responded to a call where the body of one police officer was found on the front lawn of another police officer's house, correct?
Yes.
And at some point after you arrived, you saw both Sergeant Lank and Detective Gallagher arrive, correct?
Yes.
It was Sergeant Lank who first entered the home and made initial contact with Brian Albert and his family?
No, I was right next to him.
So is it your testimony that the first time the police went in the house, you were there with Sergeant Lank?
Yes.
All right. And when you went in, can I have Exhibit 8 on the screen, please? Okay. Terrific. You're able to see Exhibit 8?
Yes.
Sergeant? Is that a fair depiction of what the house looked like when you entered it?
Yes.
Do you see the front door?
Yes.
Is that the door that you entered?
Yes.
And you had testified that you looked around the immediate area where you were while Sergeant Lank was asking questions. You noticed that when you entered that front door, you come into a foyer area, and directly in front of you on the left, you can almost reach out and touch, there's a door that goes down to the cellar, is there not?
I don't know. I don't remember a door there. I remember the stairs going up to the second floor.
I see. So you don't remember that as you step into the house, you can go down a cellar door right away?
Objection.
No, I don't know where his cellar is.
The objection sustained.
You don't know where the cellar is, and that's in part because you did not go down to the cellar, correct?
Correct.
You never examined it?
No.
You never saw what condition it was in?
No.
Saw whether there was any signs of struggle down there?
No.
You never saw if anything was tipped over?
No.
You never saw whether there was any blood or any other trace evidence down there?
Objection, Your Honor.
The objection sustained. You've made your point. Can we turn the lights back on, please? Do you need this, Ms. Giannetti?
I do not.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, now going back to when you first arrived, Sergeant, you were alone in your cruiser, correct?
Yes.
You weren't driving with a partner that morning.
No.
You were the second officer on scene?
No. Third.
Who got there before you did?
Officer Saraf and Officer Mulaney.
Okay, so Mulaney actually beat you there?
Yes.
But only within a matter of minutes, correct?
Sure.
You arrived in your marked cruiser, correct?
Yes.
You had your overhead emergency lights on, correct?
Correct.
You pulled up right in the front of the house, facing in the wrong direction in terms of the lane that you were in?
Correct.
You were parked on Fairview, adjacent to the Albert residence, and you were facing towards Cedar Crest, correct?
Correct.
When you parked, you left your motor running, correct?
Yes.
And when you got out of your cruiser, one prominent sound that you heard was Karen Reed screaming at the top of her lungs, correct?
Yes.
She appeared to be in distress.
Correct.
She appeared to be crying.
I did not see her crying.
She was hysterical.
Yes.
She was very loud.
Yes.
And you could hear her yelling throughout that morning, could you not?
Correct.
After you got there, other emergency vehicles showed up?
No.
Did you see any other cruisers show up?
If you want to call it an unmarked detective pickup truck, a cruiser, sure.
Okay, so there was one additional police vehicle that showed up?
Sergeant Lang arrived in that, and then Lieutenant Paul Gallagher arrived in his unmarked cruiser.
Okay, so two additional vehicles. And also Officer Saraf's vehicle was there?
And Mulaney's, correct.
And Mulaney. So we're now up to 4 police vehicles on scene?
Yes.
They all had their lights on?
No. Detective Sergeant Lanks does not have any lights in it, and neither did Paul Gallagher's lights were not activated, I believe.
I see. So you and Saraf and Mulaney had your lights on.
Correct.
And I actually miscounted, that would be 5 police vehicles, correct?
Sure.
All right. 3 with their lights on. What about ambulances?
There were 2 ambulances that showed up, one for the first transport of Officer O'Keefe and second for Miss Reed, but they were never there at the same time.
All right. When you first got there, was the first ambulance there?
It was.
And that ambulance also had its lights on?
Yes,
How many fire trucks were there when you were there?
just one.
And that also had its lights on as well?
Correct.
And engine running?
Yes,
And everyone was essentially parked around and in front of 34 Fairview, correct?
correct.
And all the while, the first responders are talking over the noise of the storm, correct?
Yes,
And they're also talking over the screaming by Karen Reed, correct?
sure.
At one point, Kerry Roberts even yelled at Karen, and I apologize for the language, but she yelled at her to shut the fuck up, correct?
I have no idea. I don't recall that.
The scene was very chaotic. Would you agree?
Oh, yes.
All right. Could I have Exhibit 16 on the screen, please? Oh, yes, of course. I'm sorry. Okay. Now, this has previously been admitted as sort of a side-to-side comparison between your cruiser dash cam and Officer Saraf's dash cam,
Okay,
and they've been synchronized.
okay.
If we could start at 9 minutes in, please.
So, Ms. Giannetti, this is not yet in evidence.
I had it as Exhibit 16, am I
Right.
correct?
Right. So it's not in yet.
I see. With regard to your dash cam, sir, do you recognize the bottom video here as depicting your view as you were driving to the scene?
Sure.
And that appears to be a fair and accurate representation of what was shown to you on direct examination with regard to your dash cam?
Yes.
You can continue. Okay, we can pause it there. Would you agree with me, Sergeant Goode, that you're arriving on scene at approximately 6:16 a.m. on January 29th?
Yes.
And I'd ask you to review and compare your dash cam video with the top dash cam video for the next 30 seconds or a minute, please. And I'll
Okay.
ask you some questions after that.
Sure.
You can pause it. Sergeant Goode, does it appear as though the top dash cam shows the exact same thing as the bottom dash cam, just from a different vantage point?
Yes.
Can you play it for another 20 or 30 seconds? Okay, we can pause it there. Were you able to see when people are moving, or when somebody's moving in the top version, they're also moving in the bottom version, just, again, from different vantage points?
Yes.
So do these both appear to be fair and accurate representations of the dash cams that were going on at that time?
Yes.
I would offer that, Your Honor.
Okay, I'd like to see counsel at sidebar for just 1 second on this. So this will now become Exhibit 16. We had it as a placeholder from before. It was 379, and on Friday, we said that it would stay as 16, assuming it was put in evidence. That's what you have, Tori and Jim? Great.
Okay, we can take that off the screen. Thank you. Now, Sergeant Goode, you've testified that you got there at about 6:16 a.m., and relying on Exhibit 16 that I placed before you, correct?
Okay. Yes.
You stayed on scene for over an hour and 40 minutes. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
You left maybe around 7:50 a.m. or so?
Correct.
And during the beginning part of the 1 hour and 40 minutes that you were on scene, with all the vehicles that we've just seen at around 6:16 a.m., and for the first 10, 15 minutes with all those lights flashing, you never saw Brian Albert come out of his house, correct?
Correct.
And did you see first responders working on John O'Keefe when you were there?
No.
He had already been loaded into the ambulance at that time?
Correct.
So you didn't see him actually being scooped up and put on a stretcher, correct?
I don't recall. No. He was in-
And with regard to the remainder of the time that you were on scene, up until all the way through 7:50 in the morning, did you ever see Brian Albert come out of his home?
No.
Did you ever see anyone come out of the Albert residence?
Other than John McCabe and Matt McCabe, no.
Were you aware when you entered the Albert residence that morning that John O'Keefe was found on his front lawn wearing only one shoe, black in color?
I was not aware of him missing a shoe. No.
While you were there, you were listening to the questions that Sergeant Lank was asking Brian Albert?
Yes.
Did you ever hear Sergeant Lank ask Brian Albert that morning if he knew where the other shoe was that was black in color?
Objection.
Sustained.
While you were there, did you ever hear Sergeant Lank ask Brian Albert when he learned that John O'Keefe was lying on his front lawn?
Objection.
Sustained.
You knew that Brian Albert, as a Boston police officer, is a first responder, correct?
Yes.
All police officers are first responders, correct?
Yes.
You know from your training that all police officers have to receive CPR and other necessary training to be first responders, correct?
Yes.
At any point in time, did you ask Brian Albert why he didn't come out of his house?
No.
Did Sergeant Lank, in your presence, ask him why you didn't come out of his house?
Objection.
Sustained.
After clearing the scene at 7:50 in the morning, did you go back to the station?
I did.
Do you know whether or not Kevin Albert was working that day?
I don't.
Did you see Kevin Albert that day?
I don't recall seeing him.
Did you speak with Kevin Albert that day?
No.
Now, since that day, it's been almost 2.5 years. You've continued working on the same police force as Kevin Albert, correct?
Yes.
At some point in time, you and Kevin Albert discussed the fact that you were one of the first responding officers to his brother's home for this tragic incident, correct?
Yes.
It's a very unique situation, correct?
Yes.
Many officers on the department were interested to know what you saw and heard that day, correct?
Sure.
At what point in time after January 29th did Kevin Albert broach the topic with you as to what had happened on January 29th?
Objection.
Can you answer that?
Sure. I don't recall ever immediately talking to Kevin Albert about the incident. No.
Right, well, you had said that you don't recall talking to him that day, but certainly within a couple of weeks, the two of you caught up, correct?
I can't remember. No.
I'm sorry?
I can't recall that. No.
Within a couple of months, you talked about it?
Sure.
And when you say sure, sir, I take that as you're saying, well, if you really want to go there, I'll give you the sure answer. You have to answer yes or no.
Okay. Yes.
So you answer yes or no if you can, and if you can't, you can't. So
Right.
ask the question again or just move on, please.
Okay. Do you recall where you were when you and Kevin Albert discussed what had happened on January 29th?
No.
Do you recall who else was present?
No.
Do you recall whether it was in person or over the phone?
I don't recall. No.
You certainly told him what you observed and heard that day, correct?
Yes.
Now, when you arrived, you were on scene not only to assist with, first aid and secure the scene, but as a first responder, your job is to assess the situation and also make an initial determination about gathering evidence. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
So you'd be on the lookout for any physical evidence, correct?
Yes.
And you'd certainly be on high alert for any individual who made any statement about what may have occurred, correct?
Correct.
That's important not only for treatment purposes of somebody who apparently is hurt, but also for investigative purposes, correct?
Correct.
And again, you were the third officer on the scene by minutes in terms of the other two officers arriving before you, correct?
Yes.
And while you were on scene for over an hour and 40 minutes, and by the way, when I say on scene, it's clear to you that I'm asking you about 34 Fairview, correct?
Yes.
There was no scene at the Canton Police Department, correct?
No, I'm talking about 34 Fairview.
Of course. A scene is where something happened, correct?
Yes.
While you were on scene at 34 Fairview for an hour and 40 minutes, did you ever once hear Karen Reed say, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him?
I did not.
And you wrote a report regarding this, correct?
I did.
You are trained over your 18 years that you include every important detail in that report, correct?
Correct.
Certainly, a statement by Karen Reed screaming out, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, would have been an important detail that you would have included in your report, correct?
Yes.
You do not intentionally omit, I should say, any important details from your report, correct?
Correct.
You did not include that language, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, in your report, correct?
Correct.
And the reason you didn't include it is that you never heard those words come out of Karen Reed's mouth, correct?
Correct.
Okay, now getting back to, potential physical evidence, if you're at a potential crime scene, you want to find what you can, correct?
Correct.
You want to properly secure any physical evidence, right?
Correct.
In order to assist the investigation, you're prepared to conduct a thorough search for evidence that may shed light on what had happened, correct?
Correct.
And you did participate in a thorough search in this case, did you not?
The best we could in the elements that we were dealing with. Yes.
You know, you had previously, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off
Nope.
if I did. You had previously testified, and I think I'm quoting you, the leaf blower worked great, correct?
Yes.
You would agree with me that with that leaf blower, your department was able to actually get down to the bare ground, correct?
Yes.
And you were directed to the precise area where John O'Keefe had been laying, correct?
Yes.
And so you knew the area that needed to be searched, correct?
Yes.
You certainly want to properly search around that area, correct?
Correct.
And after John O'Keefe was in the ambulance and transported to the hospital, that was the very area that you were eyeballing, correct?
Yes.
And you visually searched that area as best you could in the conditions, correct?
Yes.
And you tried to be as careful as you could be.
Yes.
You did not want to miss anything.
Correct.
You took the job very seriously.
Yes.
In addition to scouring the area with your eyes, did you use your hands to search in the snow?
I don't remember doing that. I was recording it.
I'm sorry.
I don't remember it that way. I was recording the scene.
I see. Okay. Did you see other officers using their hands to search the scene?
I don't recall it that.
Do you recall officers using their feet to clear some areas?
Yes.
And you were the one that actually got your leaf blower, correct?
I did.
First time you ever used that in an investigation, fair to say?
Yes.
And your search was thorough enough, and when I say your search, I mean your department search in addition to your observations. It was thorough enough that you actually did recover small droplets of blood, correct?
We did.
Who was it that collected those blood droplets?
That was Lieutenant Gallagher and Sergeant Lang.
In addition to the blood droplets, you were looking for anything else that might be out of place there?
Sure.
Small items,
Of course.
large items?
Anything.
And as you were on scene, it was starting to get lighter as the morning progressed, correct?
Yes.
Again, you didn't clear the scene until almost 8 a.m.
Correct.
And you searched and were keeping alert to what was around you for the time that you were on scene, correct?
Yes.
During that that 1 hour, I should say, and 40 minutes, you did not find 45 pieces of red and black and clear taillight pieces at 34th Fairview, correct?
No.
How many pieces of taillight did you find on or around that property?
That morning, none.
Did you find a men's hat, black in color?
No.
Did you find a size 12 men's shoe, black in color?
No.
Now, you would agree that it's important to preserve and secure a crime scene?
Yes.
Why is that?
You don't want the crime scene to be contaminated.
And you also do not want, and you'd like to prevent a crime scene from also being manipulated. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
And what steps were taken, either by you or in your presence, to close off and secure the crime scene at 34th Fairview?
We had crime scene tape up while we were there, and then we also had Officer Mulaney on the road.
And when you say you had Officer Mulaney on the road, you mean blocking off
Yeah.
the road?
Correct.
Are you aware of something called a crime scene log?
No.
You recall being trained in the academy that when there is a crime scene that needs to be preserved, it is advisable to set up a log so that all personnel are required to sign in and sign out. Again, to prevent contamination and to prevent manipulation. Do you not recall that training?
I don't recall that, no.
With regard to the fact that it was actively snowing at the time, did you consider putting a tent around the area to prevent and minimize the environmental intrusions like the snow?
It would have been useless.
Did you utilize any heaters to assist in melting the snow in that area?
No.
And before you cleared the scene, or I should say when you cleared the scene, did you post an officer to guard the scene so that nobody could get in or out?
No.
How long was the road closed off for?
While we were there, so those 2 hours,
All right. And then after the 2 hours, there was nobody guarding the scene. Would you agree?
yes, correct.
The road was not closed off.
No,
That crime scene was open to the public.
correct.
So with regard to, you know, a crime scene log, a tent, heaters, keeping an officer there to make sure nobody got in or out of that crime scene, you would agree none of those protocols were followed, correct?
I don't believe there is a protocol for a tent in our policy.
Okay. So I guess leave the tent out of it. None
Okay.
of those other protocols were followed, correct?
Correct.
And certainly a tent was not put up either,
No,
correct?
correct.
Now, with regard to your police report, going back to that, your report clearly listed persons involved in the case, correct?
Correct.
And that police report is generated by computer software, correct? That's
Yeah.
particular to police reports?
Correct.
And that's one of the categories that you can fill in, correct?
Correct.
And would you agree with me that with regard to all of the persons involved listed in your police report, everybody's first name and last name was completely spelled out except for one? Would you agree with that?
I don't. I believe those names were entered by Detective Sergeant Lang.
Okay, but certainly the report has your name on it, correct?
Correct.
So you would review the report before
Sure.
submitting it in your name, correct?
Correct.
So regardless of who entered or didn't enter, my question remains, which is that with regard to the persons involved listed in that report, everybody's name, first and last, is spelled out except for one, correct?
Correct.
Whose name was not spelled out completely?
I don't know.
May I approach?
Okay.
Page 2, Counsel. And I just
Thank you.
ask you to look at it silently and then look up at me when you're done. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Having reviewed that report, does that refresh your memory as to whose name was not completely spelled out?
Correct.
Who was that?
Brian Albert.
Did you omit Brian Albert's first name to mask the fact that he was involved?
No. No.
Do you know who Colin Albert is?
I know that he is Chris Albert's son.
And so therefore he'd be Brian Albert's nephew?
Yes.
Anywhere in your report, do you mention that Colin Albert was present at 34 Fairview the night of January 28th going into January 29th?
No.
Now, would you agree with me that this report also lists home addresses for everyone in the persons involved section except for one person?
Can I see the sheet again, please? Thank you.
This is the same, if I may approach,
Yes.
this is the same sheet that I sent you last time.
Thank you.
And take your time with it, sir. And Sergeant, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
What am I talking about?
Brian Higgins?
Okay. So with regard to Brian Higgins, his home address was not listed on there, correct?
Correct.
And what address was listed for Brian Higgins?
1492 Washington Street.
And what is significant about that address?
It's the town of Canton.
It's the Town of Canton Police Department, correct?
Correct.
Now, Brian Higgins was not an involved person because he was an investigator on the case, correct?
Correct.
He was not involved in this case in an official capacity, correct?
Correct.
You were, right?
Yes.
So listing the Canton Police Department as Sergeant Sean Goode's address would be appropriate. Would you agree?
Yes.
Why was Brian Higgins' address listed at as the Canton Police Department?
I don't know.
But that is something that you kept in your report, correct?
Correct.
Now, I also want to ask you something else about your police report. And I want to focus on whether it was altered after it was first submitted, okay? If I can,
Hold on, do you have your report with you?
I do not.
Okay. Do you have a copy for him, Mr. Yannetti?
I'm
Yes, sure, go ahead. No, that's okay.
I've placed a document before you. Feel free to familiarize yourself with it, and please look up at me when you're done.
Good.
Does that appear to be your police report, sir?
Yes.
Now, and with the court's permission, I'd actually like the officer to have the report in front of him when I ask him these questions.
Okay, but nothing's going up on the screen, right?
Not yet.
Okay, so approach before it does.
I will, I promise.
Okay?
Okay, so I'm directing your attention to the first page.
Okay.
You will agree with me that this report is submitted with regard to incident number 22-87-OF,
Correct.
and this is call number 22-449, correct?
Correct.
The date and time reported is listed as January 29th of 2022 at 06:08, correct?
Correct.
Which would be in military time 6:08 a.m.
Correct.
The report date and time is listed as January 29th of 2022.
Objection, Your Honor.
All right, so why don't we come to sidebar now?